In this episode, I'm going to show you how to prepare a raw file in Lightroom for TOPAZ DENOISE AI and similar plugins. Hello amigos, welcome to episode 35 of this channel. This morning I was planning on going to Capulin Springs on the east side of the Sandians. I was there a year ago and I wanted to photograph birds in the morning and get enough material to do an episode on how to photograph wild birds. However, this is what I found out in front of my house as I was getting ready to leave. And the water authority department, they were checking for a leak on the water main. The ground had settled a bit. The good news is they didn't find anything and they were able to put everything back together and pave everything within a day. So kudos to the water department and to the contractor that very quickly took care of this problem. And 3 years ago, when there was a real problem, doing the repairs took over a week. So this time, thank you, I really appreciate it. So plan B, and in plan B, what I decided to do is answer the question that a couple photographer friends gave me after my last episode. If you see that episode, you'll see that I did a review of TOPAZ DENOISE 2.2 and I really liked it. But the questions had to do with what can we do or not to a raw file before sending the image to TOPAZ DENOISE AI to maximize the benefit that we get from that plugin. So I decided to put this quick episode for you and answer that question. Here we are in Lightroom and I wanted to show you what to do for the image before we go to TOPAZ DENOISE AI. So here is this image from a hummingbird, similar to what I did in the previous episode. It's a nice image, it's relatively sharp. It was taken at ISO 1600, so it has a moderate amount of noise in the background especially. What should we do to this image before we go to the noise? So let me show you what I did and what I recommend. First thing is ensure that in the detail we have sharpening to 0 and luminance noise to 0. It is okay to leave the color noise reduction at the default of 25, but if you have an image that is taken in low light and it has a lot of color noise, I do recommend putting this one to 0 and using the low light mode in the DENOISE AI. But for this image that is well lit, I think just leaving the color noise at the default is okay. The second thing that I really recommend is don't crop the image. Topaz Labs recommends sending as many pixels as possible to the tool. And the second benefit is if you decide to recrop the image after you edit it, you'll retain a lot of that flexibility. If I crop now and I send the image and I come back and I decide to change the crop, then I'm limiting my options. So leave it alone, send the full file, okay? Those two things are the most important things. Reducing sharpening to 0 and luminance noise correction to 0 and leaving the file alone without cropping. Now, a few other things that you could do. If we go to the basic panel, you can change, because this is a raw file, you can change the white balance. I went from, as shot was I think daylight, I put it at cloudy, I wanted a warmer photo. You can go to the profiles and change the profile. The default will be Adobe Color. I went to Adobe Vivid. Now there are a few other profiles. And here you have the camera matching profiles, right? They're going to match exactly the profiles that exist in your cameras. Since I shoot Canon cameras, I had Faithful, Landscape, Neutral. If you have Olympus or you have Nikon, yours will be different. These ones are showing up here because I'm editing a raw image. Once you come back from the DENOISE AI, you're going to have a different type of file, a TIFF or a PSD. These ones won't be available. So you're going to use one of these profiles, use it now. Like I say, in my case, I decided to go to Adobe Vivid, okay? Another thing that you could do in the lens corrections panel is enable chromatic aberrations and profile corrections. For this image, it probably wasn't necessary, and this image now is ready to go to Denoise AI. Now we go to edit Denoise AI. Now we have a few other choices. Under copy file options, I'm going to do edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments, right? Because I already made some changes, the ones that I mentioned to you. File format, you have three options, TIFF, PSD, and JPEG. I recommend using TIFF. Color space, Lightroom by default uses ProPhoto and you cannot change. So Lightroom is going to use ProPhoto. If you decide to use one of the other color profiles, it's going to convert from the ProPhoto color profile to the other one. And then when it comes back, it's going to convert back to ProPhoto. So you're going to have some color inconsistency. So I recommend leaving ProPhoto so the whole round trip is in ProPhoto RGB. 16 bits by component. Resolution. The default is going to be 240 when you first install TOPAZ Denoise in your computer. That's a good resolution, especially you just displaying images in your screen or sharing it on social media. If you want to print, I recommend if you have a Canon printer 300, if you have Epson printer 360, because those printers use multiples, so 300 and 360 respectively. Compression, if you select zip, it's going to generate a smaller TIFF file, and that sounds good. But once it goes to TOPAZ Denoise is going to decompress, and when it comes back, I'm not sure it compresses the file again. So for now, I just leave it alone. Every plugin behaves differently when it comes to compression. So for now, I just leave that alone, okay? So TIFF, ProPhoto, 16-bit, 360, like I say, especially if you're gonna print, or if you know you're gonna crop, you may want to go to this type of higher resolution. So now we edit, and it's gonna take us to TOPAZ Denoise AI. So here we are. I'm gonna move the image a little bit, and I'm going to select the Denoise AI module out of the text settings, and I'm going to tell it to update, and it calculates very fast. Okay, and as you can see, it did a really good job of removing noise around the wings and around the flower. And you can see my prior video on a review of the improvements that TOPAZ has done to this great tool. Okay, I make remove noise a little bit more. Update one more time, and it really does a great job on the little hummingbird and the detail on the flower. Now we're done, and I'm gonna save the image. TOPAZ Denoise is processing the whole file, and it's gonna take us back into Lightroom. Well, we're back in Lightroom. TOPAZ brought us back. As you can see now, we have a very clean background on the image. It's a very good starting point to do our edits. If we compare it with the image that we sent, you can see quite a bit of more noise in the background. So overall, TOPAZ did a really nice job. So now you can edit this image any way you like. Let me show you what I did. So I edited the image, and this is what I end up doing. I darkened the background. I added some additional light to the bird and to the flower, and texture and clarity, a little bit of sharpening as well. And I'm going to show you the crop. I end up cropping this image significantly, but the advantage of sending the full file at the beginning is if I decide to change the crop, I can do it now without running into any problems, okay? So that's why I recommend sending the full file. This is how I prepare a file before I go to Denoise, and I hope this is of benefit to you. I hope you like the answer that I provided to the question of what to do to a raw image before we go to TOPAZ Denoise AI. And I think it applies to some other plugins as well. If you're liking these episodes, please give me a thumbs up. Take a few seconds to send me a comment, what you like, what you would like to see, and take also an additional second to subscribe to this channel. See you next time.